Not a glance, not a single word, just that heavy silence that wraps around two people like a storm they both refuse to escape. Maya and Arav used to laugh until sunrise, but lately, pride had become their only language. That night, as rain whispered against the window, Arav suddenly remembered his flight to Delhi was at 7 a.m. and his phone alarm? Broken. His ego wouldn't let him ask her directly, so he scribbled a note and slid it beside her pillow. Wake me up at 5. Then, he turned away, feeling oddly victorious in his quiet battle. When his eyes finally opened, sunlight was slicing through the curtains. 8:30 a.m. His heart stopped. He bolted, a bright flight gone, meeting ruined. Fury pulsed through him like fire. He rushed into the kitchen where Maya sat calmly sipping her tea. You didn't wake me up, he barked. Her face didn't change. Without a word, she pointed to a small piece of paper under his untouched cup of coffee. In her graceful, steady handwriting it read, "It's 5. Get up." He froze, the note shaking in his hand. The same silence he'd used as punishment now echoed back at him, cold, sharp, poetic. He wanted to laugh, maybe even apologize, but the words wouldn't come. All he could do was stare at the woman who had turned his own pride into a lesson he'd never forget. That morning, as she walked past him to leave for work, she didn't look back. For the first time, he realized silence isn't empty, it's full of answers you were too proud to hear. Tell me, if someone spoke to you in silence, would you understand what they're saying? He hadn't spoken to her in for days. Not a glance, not a single word, just that suffocating silence that sits heavy between two people who once couldn't stop laughing. Zara and Rayan had turned love into a battlefield of pride. That night, as thunder rumbled outside, Rayan remembered his early morning flight. His alarm app had crashed days ago, but instead of breaking the silence, he grabbed a pen and wrote a note. Wake me up at 5:30. He placed it by her phone and went to sleep, convinced he'd won. He hadn't spoken to her in for days. When he finally opened his eyes, sunlight was pouring through the curtains. 8:45 a.m. His chest tightened. He jumped out of bed, heart pounding. Flight gone, deal lost. Rage boiling, he stormed into the kitchen. You didn't wake me up, he shouted. Zara didn't even blink. Calmly, she lifted her coffee mug, revealing a folded note beneath it. In her soft, looping handwriting it read, "It's 5:30. Get up." He stared, words collapsing in his throat. That single line hit harder than any argument. The silence he'd used to hurt her had become her sharpest reply. He looked at her, same woman, same quiet strength, but now her silence felt like a mirror reflecting every ounce of his arrogance. Rayan stood there, realizing too late that sometimes the quietest people deliver the loudest lessons. She finished her tea, placed the cup in the sink, and left without looking back. The door clicked shut, leaving him with nothing but the echo of what he refused to say. So tell me, when pride speaks louder than love, who really wins the silence?